You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's The Bachelorette After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's The Bachelorette After Show.
Oh,
what is the song?
What is the song? Danny.
The chorus is going to take a while.
Are you
weren't kidding.
Wait, skip it forward. What is this?
In the meantime, why don't I just say with 27 million weekly downloads listened to in over 100 different countries, we're your one stop, one destination for true after-show entertainment. We are The Bachelorette Season 10, Episode 8. I'm JC. And let's introduce our wonderful host, starting with the lovely lady in blue.
The song is She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy.
She thinks my tractor's sexy. Yeah.
You asked for it. You can't ask what song it is after you requested
I was trying to, like, tease the reveal of the chorus.
That was Cathy Kelley.
Hi. Oh, yeah, that's me.
There it is. It really turns it on. Guys, I'm Danny Hoyt. I love this song.
Thank you, Danny, for sharing, and sharing is caring. But this is The Bachelorette, and okay, Bachelor Nation, AfterBuzz TV Nation, the lovely lady to my right, you know what? I don't want to say needs no introduction, but I'm going to tell you something, Courtney. I already let it out of the But they say the hardest thing in the world is meeting your heroes because you're slightly disappointed. But sometimes when you hear about so-called villains and you meet them, they can be a refreshing breath of air. Oh. And I have to say that with you. So, AfterBuzz TV Nation, put your hands together.
Thank you.
For Courtney Robertson.
What a warm welcome. I'm clapping for myself. I'm a real asshole. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us super late. And guys, I want to say hello to the chat roll. I know you guys are buzzing like crazy. You can ask us some questions. We're going to talk about Courtney, about the book, of course. But of course, we're going to talk about her inside information on the Final Four, her experience, and everything that went down tonight, because tonight was, it's hard to put into words. I mean, you have your Final Four, you have your hometowns, but something that's never happened before in the show's history, and that was, you know, Chris informing the contestants with the passing of Eric Hill. And I mean, Courtney, you've been through this process, but nothing like this. So, I mean, initial thoughts.
It was really, that was tough to watch. When the news broke that had happened, I was in a funk for the whole day. And I remember you come back from the show. I mean, I went further, obviously I was gone 2.5 months, but you come home and you're so excited to see your family and you're reunited because, you know, you're cut off from them. And I think he had only been back for a little while, and I just felt for his family and for him. And you come back and you're so excited. You just had this amazing experience, and but just all of Bachelor Nation, nothing like that has ever happened. And it gives me goosebumps. It's just really, it's tragic. And he was such a love and like so enjoyable to watch. I mean, like I was watching initially like, oh my God, like maybe I'll meet him. Like he's cute, you know, like you never know. And he was just so likable. So.
The whole Live Like Eric movement that's been going on. I mean, everyone's just been posting things today that I've noticed on Instagram, and it seems like people are still trying to live on with it.
Yeah, keep the memory alive. Yeah. And
absolutely.
You know, I think Brooks Forrester is doing something with
really?
Like they want to like see out his, like, you know, who's doing that documentary.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are coming forward to help.
Wow.
And
that's really cool.
Yeah. It's cool. It's really cool, and I think it's like the best tribute to him possible.
You know, because in the end, I know that there's a lot of opinions, and people, I think, people don't, you know, that watch it at home and they formulate their opinions, but you're part of a family. You know, I mean, you, Courtney, you are part of this Bachelor family, and you saw that scene, and you were talking about the producers that were coming out hugging each other, and it hit you because you're really close with everyone in that scene.
Yeah, a few of the producers, I mean, all those producers I was with for 2.5 months, and you get to know, it's like, I think that scene was really hard to watch. I was like kind of feeling very emotional. I saw my good friend Alon, and I know it was really tough for him, and they all flew and went to the funeral, and I just know it's been really hard for everybody, and it just goes to show you that scene where you see everybody and what's going on behind the camera. Like they really care about us.
Well, and I said this to JC because him and I watched earlier together, and when that happened, the way they did that, I was really proud of the show to show us. I mean, I'll just say it. I shed, like, I cried watching that. I got emotional watching it because it was really cool to see, like, the family and, like, there's more important things in it. And I'm glad that the camera's still rolling so we can understand that at home on the couch. We can understand what it's like because the gravity of that situation was so heavy. Yeah. And to see them take care of their own, and that was what was most important at the time, you know?
The last time I think we've ever seen a producer on camera was Emily's season. Do you remember that?
In front of somebody's house?
I forget what the context that it was.
It was in front of the front door of a house or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like we saw a lawn.
That was like having something to do with Ari. I remember. Yeah, but you'll see him, like, I'll see, like, some of my friends, like, just for little snippets. I think it was it this season? The beginning of the season one, the guy was drunk in the pool, remember? And he, like, ran upstairs.
You're right.
You see my friend Alon go up there, like, chase after him.
Yeah.
So you get, like, little snippets, but there's so much that I think viewers at home don't realize is going on behind, and they're real, like, people after my season were like, how are you still friends with the producers? I'm like, I love them.
Yeah.
Like, we were like family on the road, like, you know, you're with them, like, all the time. So I think it's kind of nice for viewers to see what's behind the camera.
The people that we know are sometimes better friends with some of the producers than they are the castmates, just because either they live in LA or, you know, you get so close to these people because you're spending pretty much every waking hour with them.
Which was my point about Nick.
Okay, let's start because we could be here forever talking to you about it, but we want to get you out at a decent time at least. So let's dive into the final four, and the episode didn't waste any time. They jumped right into the first date with Nick. And all right, Courtney, I'm gonna bring you up to speed. These two have very passionate opinions about Nick.
Yeah.
And we want to find out maybe where you stand, or maybe you can shed some light, because I once again in Switzerland and I get in trouble because I need to make a choice. Am I pro Nick? Am I anti Nick? What's going on? What did we think about the date tonight? Or the hometown.
Tonight, I had no problem with him. I really liked seeing.
Whoa.
I wasn't here last week, so I was very, very, very opposed to Nick last week.
Why?
He called it a game multiple times. I feel like that's just, I don't know. That irked me. It could be the edit, but the way that the guys were against him, it just seemed, I don't know. But this week, I felt he was very endearing. It was nice to see his family. He had a freaking huge family, 10 people, 10 kids.
And even more people in the room. And
yeah.
Well, go ahead.
No, I mean, I think that it was nice to see how supportive they were of him and how close he was to them. That made me not dislike him as much.
Well, a couple interesting things. You notice, like you said, they were very supportive. Nick being, and we've seen this, a very confident guy, sure of himself. When they sat in front, it was him and Andi. It was almost like they were on a stage in front of all their family members. They were asking him questions. He was looking down and he was red. He was like, and not like in a, it was like a bashful, like little kid, like, God, I feel for this girl. I don't know what to do with myself. It was like we saw a cool side of Nick that we hadn't seen yet.
Oh, like he was being vulnerable, and but he also doesn't have the best eye contact either, which is a huge thing for me. Like, I think that's key, you know, like connecting and
How
chemistry.
Are we doing? Are we all doing
good.
Okay?
Yeah. We're good. We're in the trust tree here.
We're in the nest.
I'm kidding. Okay.
Exactly. But so you like him. You love him.
I'm a huge fan of Nick.
Okay.
While I think
he likes the scarves.
Oh.
Well, we have to talk about
I don't like the scarves.
We'll get into that in a second.
From the very first episode, I've said
that cold?
Nick. No, I don't wear scarves. I have a few.
Danny,
I just don't wear them very often.
Come on.
I just think, well, for right out of the gate, he was the best. He was the best dressed guy, and so I've been a fan of him.
He's very put together.
Yeah, he's put together well, including his blazer in the rose ceremony tonight was fantastic.
That's kind of a shade of pink.
Coral from Topshop.
Salmon.
Okay. Whatever.
Okay, I want to bring you into this because you said yourself that on the show they got maybe 1% of you. You know, they showed 1% of you. So do you think, are we missing other sides of Nick? Because, you know, so far people are very opinionated. They're looking for a so-called villain, and we've talked about it that on Twitter, he's tweeting, was it Chris? And they're
buddies after the show.
Oh, but that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good sign. And I think, I think what I watch it different. I notice different things. Like, some of the things that they're showing him saying are actually not in the moment, or it's like his voiceover or that kind of a thing. But, I mean, he's definitely, I can't figure him out either. I think it's like, is he playing a game? Like, I definitely think he has real feelings. I mean, but he's a tricky one. I don't know. I'm kind of with you.
It'll be interesting to see him at the Men Tell All.
Okay.
Or I guess if he
makes it
after the final rose,
if he wins it, or we don't know.
But I think wasn't he the one that like tape leaked of him or something?
We haven't watched that.
We don't do spoilers.
But
here.
I had a couple people try to send it to me.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now everything. No,
there was a tape that leaked, so if you want to know who wins, I think you can watch that. But yeah, I don't know. I thought his little sister was adorable, Bella.
Those questions
How old was she?
awesome.
Like
So
6?
cute.
Adorable.
And on the flip side, when Andi explained to Bella about emotional connections and mental connections, that was a really cool moment to see. And then she's like, well, would you accept me as a big sister? And Bella was like, mm-hmm.
I loved how she forgot the answers to everything. And
I know.
Yeah.
She's like, wait, I remember
she's
too.
Like, I asked her if she truly loved you. And he goes, what did she say? She's like, she said yes. Oh, wait. No. I asked if she liked you.
Yes.
And I can't remember what she said. She was so adorable. Yeah.
Well, and also major brownie points for Andi. She goes down every picture and names every single person.
All 10 siblings.
All 10 siblings.
All 10 siblings.
That's incredible.
Because they quizzed her on it.
She's smart.
Oh,
She's
she
a
is.
smart cookie.
They quizzed her on it, and she nailed it.
One thing, though, is when she was telling Bella that they have a great mental connection, I wish that if she really liked him, I felt like she would have said, we connect on every level. It's not just mental or emotional or physical.
Maybe
it's
she
all
did
of them,
because
that's what you
didn't,
want.
They didn't give us the full audio.
See, we
when
really
she said,
break
"Are
this
you?"
down.
No, she said.
Bella
she's
goes,
like,
"Are you truly in love with him?" And that's when they cut the audio off and went to Andi's interview.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch it again.
Well, I want to know what you think. Because Swiss over here, what'd you say?
he never tells us his opinions.
Man, Courtney, dang it!
Hot seat.
All
Tell
right.
me what you really think.
Okay, maybe she should be hosting this thing. No. All along, for weeks I've been saying it. It just seems to me it's like a two-man race. And I think it's Nick and Josh, and Nick and Andi have this intellectual connection. You see that. Is that enough? I don't know. Is there something? Are we going to get a hero edit in the next 2 weeks that they're going to reveal something that we do not know? Because they tend to do that from time to time. Mm-hmm. They'll take you one way, and then at the very end they.
Yeah, I felt like that happened on mine a little bit. Like
yes.
I kind of started coming across a little bit softer, and you started seeing me crying a lot, and the wheels were falling off. But that, not about my season. But
no, of course, no. But that's why we have you here. So you're gonna.
It could happen.
We want your insight.
It could hahappen. I mean, I think the thing too is like once the guys are separated, like once you go to hometowns, like you've been living with these people, and he made it very clear, like. I didn't come. What he said, I didn't come here to live in a
friends or
frat house.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's like for me, I knew as soon as I got to see my family, and like my mood changed dramatically. It was like I was missing my family. I'm so close with them. I talk to them every day, and then after I saw my family, I was like recharged and like. I just was like in a better mood. So maybe we'll see a little sweeter, softer side.
Well, and I teased this last week because at the end of last week's episode, when he was doing his interview and he looked down, he started crying. And I told you weren't here, but I said this last week. I said, I think that's the tipping point for when they're going to start to change how they show him to us, basically.
Yeah.
And so I firmly believe that. I'm like,
Man tears started coming.
tears.
Yep.
yeah.
It
So,
happens.
but let's talk about your family's experience on that. From hometowns. What was that like? Like you said, you were talking to your dad earlier today. So.
Yeah, we're so close. Yeah, he was watching the show, and that's what I love about the show. It's like it brings people together. And my parents never watched the show. My sister's a huge fan, so I mean, it was like such an exciting time. Like, I came in and we were in love, and it's like this cruise there, and it was exciting for my family. And but But it was also like a lot, you know. My mom's like, oh my God, the house looks good. And there's like film crew here. And they actually filmed mine on Halloween, and she was so bummed because she couldn't put her pumpkins out.
Oh,
no. It's like her favorite holiday, and like trick-or-treaters were coming up to the door. And
So
they had,
you
like,
guys ate all the candy?
yeah, I mean, they had a PA out there like, don't knock on the door, and like handing out candy.
Oh,
so,
geez.
but I know it was definitely difficult. My mom was like disappointed, but yeah, it was a good time for me. It was just like just changed everything. I was like, I get to see my family and like kind of get a little reassurance and like talk to them and see if they liked Ben. And
that's when it probably felt real, is when other people who you knew were saying, okay, we can see it.
Yeah, definitely. And it was still like, I didn't get a lot of feedback because it's so quick, you know, you don't really get to, I put it all in the book. Like it was very quick, like a few things off camera before they like kind of separate you. So I tried to make, like Chris always says, make the most, you know, best out of your time and get as much info as you can.
Wow,
So.
it's great. This is, we never get this. I mean, I'm sure the fans don't even get these extras, like the fact that little kids were turned away on Halloween.
They still got their candy.
That's an HHE, a hard-hitting exclusive.
One of my best friends was handing out candy on the street because my mom was so bummed.
Well, let's keep moving on because I know
Look at all those notes.
I told you, I don't even write all this stuff, but we have to get through because of Chris.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Chris.
Yeah.
Good old. What was this thing last week? You Go Farmer.
You go, farmer.
Because okay, Chris, I've loved since day one, but what I don't see it with him, because even just on the physical level, when they kiss, it always seems awkward. Call me a liar.
Tonight, it did not. I feel like she was real into it. She was really into him. When they were on the tractor, I think she even said it. She's like, seeing this, like, he could be the dark horse. Like, I could be realizing right now that he is the guy because I feel like, you know, I am attracted to everything in this scenario.
I don't think it's that she's not attracted. I think that the biggest, I guess, aspect of Chris is that she'd have to live in Iowa, and I think that's the biggest
And he said you would. There's an opportunity for you to be a homemaker.
Right.
But then he followed it by saying also you could
Be
look
a
into,
DA.
Yes.
Yeah, be a DA in Cedar Rapids, which is.
Because we didn't see it. We didn't see that in all the previews.
I think it's about an hour. Arlington is really small. He said what,
58.
59 with her.
58 people.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
So,
I've been there.
no, but then also, you know, are we saving that for news and gossip and things?
No, I think we should address it now.
Head on. Let's address the
'Cause we're
elephant in the
doing it
room.
Hard-hitting news.
We're in the
of course.
nest. There's
Cathy.
elephants.
Well, yeah. There was a report this weekend, I believe, from Radar Online that Chris has had 13 run-ins with the law. And, of course, we're not sure if these are true or not, but he's been arrested 13 times from
13 run-ins. Maybe not 13 handcuffs on him, but 13 events.
Various things from as small as speeding tickets to minor in possession to I think there was a confrontation with an officer at one point.
There's a fight, DWI / DUI. And I had thought about this. I was actually with Cathy when we read this, ironically, and so we talked about it briefly in the moment for about 10 minutes. Being from, and I'm from Nebraska, which is similar. They're small. I'm from the bigger part of Nebraska, but the small towns, I have a lot of friends that grew up like that. And my reason for saying that is this: when you live in a town that has that small of a population, usually you know everybody, including the officers. Not that driving, when you drank alcohol is ever okay, but things slide a little more. And if that's the case, and he's still getting those, does that mean that he is the kind of guy who has a bad reputation, that the officers don't even like him in a small town where you like everybody? So does that say something about him that we haven't seen?
Yeah.
Is what I kind of wondered. You know what I mean? I know that's reading far into it, but...
It seemed like a lot of these infractions were when he was a lot younger.
Yeah.
And that he hasn't really had anything recently.
He's 32?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That's a good age.
And to get an MIP, you have to be obviously under 21.
Okay.
So some of these could be...
Oh.
Also,
a decade
a lot
old.
of this stuff, like,
Yeah.
and I have to say, like,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt, but
No.
like, having been through it, like, so much garbage was out there about me.
Yeah, how
like,
many times did you
they
say
make
you were
up-
pregnant?
I was
stuff.
pregnant like 4 times. Like, oh, they made a baby when they were skinny dipping. Like, and just even after the show, like, there was so much, like, things, like, when people would write things about me on, blogs, like, on comments, and then I was, like, amazed. Like, it would turn into a story. And I'm like, this is just somebody in their house, like, writing stuff.
How do you
like,
deal with that?
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was like, and I couldn't say anything, and that's why I wrote the book. I was like, you know, this whole storm was going on around me, and the show's airing, and then I'm on and the tabloids, and I actually did have friends like trying to sell stories on me, and like some stuff was true that was coming out, but it was like spun crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, add in just to sell magazines, and so yeah, I mean, sounds like a lot of like run-ins, but like you just never know the full story.
Yeah.
So basically, you're saying take it with a grain of salt, and also Danielle.
Any of this gossip stuff, you kind of have to. Yeah. But it's mindless and it's fun to read. You know, I still read Us Weekly. For sure. You know.
Right, and I was gonna say with Danny now also because Chris is from a very small town.
Yeah.
Could also be some sort of I mean, we're reading into it way too much, but also petty jealousies, politics, things of that small town nature. No, because honestly, he's going to be a celebrity and things like this.
What?
No, you were going to say
he's
something.
going to be a celebrity. I was going to say, do you remember Sweet Home Alabama? The guy. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yes, that was
the
such a
guy.
good movie.
He just after hearing this news and him having run-ins with the law, it reminded me of the guy that Reese Witherspoon's character ends up falling in love with because he's a small town guy who you know he just ends up he's a babe, and then he has a lot of run-ins with the law when he's younger, but then he becomes this businhelmman, and everyone's like, oh, he's perfect
Cathy?
for you. I'm just saying
Early
that
prediction?
Chris is going to end up with Reese Witherspoon. It's obvious.
Oh, no. And you know what? We haven't even talked about the date.
I know.
We haven't talked about it.
Okay, you say I'm Switzerland. I'm going to say I don't see it with him. I do not. And I can tell you, even on the tractor, to me it seemed like she was almost like, she knows he's a good-looking guy, has a great life, has his own home. She talks about it on the episode.
She likes his house.
Yes, but what I see, it's almost like
I like his house.
Let's say, do you have a friend that, let's say he's good-looking, but there's just not something there, but you almost want to like show him off to friends that like, look at this friend, he's so good-looking, he's got his life together. Look at all this.
That's so likable.
Yes, that's what I got out of that with me.
It's all there, but. Or like everything's there on paper. It sounds great, but it's not.
Guy.
Yeah, it's not.
I meet them all the time. I do.
And why? Well, then let me ask you this: if you meet good on paper guys all the time, what is it about the guys that ends up being the common factor of why they're not good in real life, guys?
Ooh, damn.
The common factor is
Yeah,
just the chemistry.
They don't have it. Yeah,
it's the Zaza Zoo, the chemistry, like the that like thing that you feel for them.
Yeah,
Zaza Zoo.
Yeah, the Zaza Zoo.
Like
That's
the
a
It
Sex and the
Factor.
City reference. I always
You don't have that connection.
No.
Like
To Sex
Andy
and the
talks
City?
about. No,
It's the chemistry.
Oh.
Yeah, there's just something there.
Yeah.
Like you guys don't
glad
fit
you
well
agree,
together.
right?
Oh yeah, because I've had that with, I don't know, a lot of guys in LA randomly.
Yeah,
I don't know
me
what it
too.
is about LA, but yeah,
And
they
they're
can be
so
great on paper. They can be funny, smart, good looking. Trying to do something with
bed.
themselves, and then it's just at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it just doesn't work out.
I love how you stuck that one in.
I mean, it could be all there, but it's just not there. But something's not there.
Yeah.
Okay, so am I
guy.
moving the group into saying maybe is that it with Chris and Andy?
Possibly. Or she just has a better connection with someone else.
That's what I think.
And
it
she
is.
doesn't wanna hurt
He
him.
is a good on paper guy, and he was even good in real life. He had the airplane thing was kind of cute. I don't know, ladies, would you
Yeah.
like that?
Oh, yeah.
He's total romantic. I love the
Yeah.
little secret admirer letters. Like, that's thoughtful, and it seems like he's really ready. You know, I mean, he might be one that gets away, a good one that gets away. I don't know.
Well, and he kind of said something, and forgive me for not remembering exactly what he said, but he alluded to that for a girl to come all the way down and spend the time in his town, almost like this doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get a lot of shots. I don't get a lot of chances.
With only 758 people, of course he doesn't get a lot of
he
Probably
sounds-
not a lot of Tinder matches in that area.
FarmersOnly.com. Come on.
Oh, that was really good. You guys were...
What?
I didn't even think of Tinder Farmers Only, but that was like...
Just like swipe. Oh, done. No more matches.
No more matches. He's expanding his radius to like New York City. No, he also sounded like he's had this internal struggle for a long time, and I kind of felt for him because he said, sometimes I think about this, like I want to be here to keep on the tradition of my family and the farming business, but like it almost sounded like the way he was saying it was that he has aspirations for other things, but he doesn't want to like turn his back on what his family has put all their hard work into, literally into the soil right there.
So where does this leave Chris?
I think this leaves Chris.
What do you think, Courtney?
I like him. I think he's adorable. I mean, I like them all.
Do you like him for Andy?
I do. from the first time I watched the first episode, and I didn't read spoilers, I kind of was like, ooh, like, she's going to pick that guy because he's so hot, and he just seemed, like, really good, and they had chemistry, but I don't want to say, but I like them all. I really do. I think he's handsome. I mean, I think he'd be a great Bachelor.
Yeah, we've been talking about that.
Well, there's something that came out tonight that he Instagrammed a picture of himself pointing at the screen because people were saying he was the next Bachelor. So
really?
There's a pic posted.
Really?
They're saying it may be fake, but like he was pointing at the screen, saying he somehow saying he wasn't.
Well, that would make it easier for him because I feel like a girl could move with him, and like then you already know what you're getting into.
Exactly.
Like, you know, and they know where he lives and all that kind of stuff. And you would want to live in that house, you said, right?
Yeah. Danny's gonna go with Chris.
No.
Can we talk about so while we were watching no, I just want to mention we were watching the airplane or talking about the airplane scene, and you said that the producers must really like him because they
well, I mean, you have
allowed
a say
him to
in
do
planning your hometown dates. And I remember I was like, I am not golfing. I'm not taking him like rock climbing. Like, and I was like, can we rent a helicopter and just like take a little spin over the Grand Canyon? And they're like, are you crazy? Like, that's so expensive.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you know, if you don't ask, you never know.
Yeah, you have not because you asked not. That's a biblical principle.
I mean, I figured like just get a helicopter. We'll take him to the Grand Canyon, but we went and had a picnic, and it was a fake wedding, and that was my second option. So.
I want to ask so many questions just with what you just said right there, but I want to save it for when we talk about the book and you, because I just feel like sometimes do you think America some people gave you a bad rap because you go for what you want?
You know, I do go for what I want, and you gotta ask. You know, you gotta try, and especially when it comes to dating. You know, I mean, I've always kind of gone after what I want. I chased a guy down the street once, and we ended up dating for a while.
Tell us the story. I gotta hear the brief version.
It's not even in the book. I have so many, good stories. Like, I kept seeing this guy. I saw him twice in 1 week. We were at like the same party, and we kind of kept locking eyes, and like. He didn't make a move, and then I left and didn't see him. And then I saw him like the next day in West Hollywood, like so far. And I saw him leaving the restaurant. And I was like, I'll be right back. And he was like way down the street. I chased him down the block, and I was like,
love that.
Hey, stop! And then we ended up dating for a while.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just my nature. Like, if I see something and I want it, it's like, you know, you don't get those opportunities. So it's like about making the most of your time.
Yeah.
So you're living the moment. You're chasing.
I'm chasing guys down the block, but when you see one that you know, that's like twice in 1 week.
Yeah.
That's like in LA, everyone's so spread out, and I was like, this is a sign. And but now he's dating somebody like a celebrity, so it's in the book. You guys can figure out who it is, but I don't want to name drop. No name dropping.
No name dropping.
Not even first letter.
It starts with a J.
Okay.
and ends with a what?
We'll let everyone stew on that one and make them go get the book.
It's a teaser for the book. There you go.
Speaking of J's, let's move on to Josh. See that? That's called segue.
Oh wait, no, we didn't talk about Chris's family or anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say
already.
Chris's mama, like, she was like, I want to babysit for your kids, and it was so cute. I love his mom.
I love that they played Ghost in the Graveyard. That was awesome.
That was awesome. And then Chris's mom also sang, there was one other line that she said, you know, times have changed, and you can still be a career woman and have a family. And I just appreciated that so much.
That's cool.
Especially after, you know, all of us thinking, okay, well, she has to be a homemaker if she, you know, moves in with Chris. But the fact that she can still have this amazing, you know, life that she wants, be a successful career woman and have that as well.
You know, and Andy even mentioned, I believe, in page 87 of my notes, it said that that she was looking forward to having babies as well.
Yeah.
Like, she was chomping at the bit, and I saw a lot of similarities between Chris's mom and Andi. Ironically enough, just she was a city girl now and learned to farm.
Yeah.
And that she could fall in love with the process as well.
Yeah.
Is that a little projection? But I don't know. You never know. These little hints, these little nuggets. Maybe we're all wrong, and she ends up with Chris. And
with Ghost in the Graveyard, so Chris is hiding, and Andi finds him, and he's like, "Oh, you're so good. Like, you're so smart." I was like, "Of course she's gonna be able to find him. Cameras and lights are everywhere, like surrounding him."
Just follow the camera, guys.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, what did we think of the family and just anything that, to me, they seem like the heartline of America, right there. And
Yeah.
he's gonna
I
have.
like him.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, there's nothing I don't like about him. I will say this, though. If I was playing Ghost in the Graveyard and she found me, I would have grabbed her and ran into the cornfield. See ya. I'm going to go get some time with Andi for a little bit before I see the rest of your family. That's what I would. If Andi found me and I would be like, let's go hide for 20 more minutes somewhere when nobody can find us.
Giving you a hard time,
That's
you're
what I do.
romantic, Danny.
Hey,
It goes so quick, though. It's like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right.
Almost knocked that thing over here.
Courtney's destroying our set. If you're not watching us live, you should.
I'm like a bull in a china shop here.
Let's move on to Josh, who we've all really, I think for the most part, really like. But, yes, Danny?
I just want to say something about the beginning of his video. When he's standing in front of the ocean, I think Josh did so. He went home. How many days do you get at home before she comes? How long would he have been in Tampa?
Like a day, but you don't see your family or anything.
Yeah,
he looks like he was like freshly like had worked out. He looked bigger to me, like thicker, pumped up.
I noticed that Chris got a haircut after, so I'm sure that they get. I mean, I'm sure that they get some time, but it's not with the family, right? Like after.
Well, I was like in LA for a couple of days.
Yeah.
I was the last hometown, so I got to get my hair cut and colored and shopped a little bit. I bought my little white dress. Yeah, I had some time to like work out and. Definitely.
Yeah.
See, he looked like so the reason I say that is because it looked like he was about to take us on like a workout video, like in front of the ocean. He's like, "I'm Josh, we're in Tampa, blah 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 blah. Today we're gonna do abs and like that's what it felt like to me."
He was excited.
He was excited.
Buys and tries.
Buys and tries today. Where's the beach? Oh, it's behind me, right there.
Holy moly, Danny, you got some howitzers there. Okay, so that means guns.
Howitzers?
Yeah, howitzer guns.
Is that a German gun?
Over my head. Okay, let's talk about their instant chemistry. I mean, I saw him like he was like jumping. He was like a little kid, and week in week out, they look like a couple to me.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Is couples dress alike? They both had dark colored shirts and colorful shorts. She had pink shorts. He had blue shorts, and they were the same like kind of hue. I don't know. It was very. They look like a couple.
Storybook.
Yeah.
And the chemistry.
Okay, so what do you see with them?
I mean, good on paper. The stars align. You know, he lives in the same place.
It looks like they have chemistry too.
They would have cute babies, and the chemistry. I mean, it's kind of undeniable.
Yeah.
You know,
her family loves Georgia.
But let's talk about the elephant that was in their room. As soon as they sat down at the table, Aaron's like, "Yeah, bro. So the combine went well," and she was like, "Wait, what?" Like looking back and forth.
You were surprised. It seemed, you know, Cathy, you said something about that too, because
yeah, usually the hometowns are about the girl.
That was so awkward.
No, but I think I took it differently, actually. I thought the way she brought it up, I want to read exactly what she said. It seemed to me like she was defending Josh slightly. Like, you know, all the attention is always about Aaron, and we find out that Josh is such a giving guy. You hear this throughout the whole date, like his family, he's lived for others, he's lived for everyone else. Now it's his time. And she defended him in such a way where, like, no, well, Josh and I could have something here. You know, I know we're talking about Aaron. I think she was just kind of like sticking up for a man, like instinctually.
Yeah.
Here's my thing with it. I think that it was an awkward moment. And I think that they edited it so it doesn't look bad on Joshua's family, but still that moment in and of itself was a little.
Well, he honestly, since their whole life, he said that for the past few years it has been about that, and he's fine with it. Like, he wants to be there for his brother, he wants to support his brother, and so he was probably just as curious about what was going on in his brother's life since he hadn't had any communication with him for a month and some change.
I know. I just still feel like that moment you could see, like, Andi was looking back and forth, and she kind of had this look on her face, like, really? This is really happening right now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, Courtney.
It definitely happens. Like, 'cause, you don't see your family till right when you get there.
Yeah.
Like, the time you have with them is on camera. And I remember, like, my sister, when I talked to her, like, when I had left, she had just met a guy. And when I missed the whole, like, them falling for each other and becoming official. And I was like, oh, my God, you have a boyfriend? Like, you know, and, like, they didn't show that. But, you know, like, so it kind of happens on camera, you know? But, I mean, I don't know.
I was going to ask you because, you know, Josh is her type. She said that over and over, and she's kind of scared, you know, and I think we always say, is he too good to be true? I mean, these type of things, I mean, does that come into play? Is there something we don't get to see that, you know, some other interactions where, because if she was so scared, wouldn't she have just kind of already eliminated him? Or is it the hotness factor? Because you said he's a good looking guy. We're not going to lie.
For me, I mean, if it was me, I mean, like, I'm always wary of, obviously, athletes, you know, in general. And he's such a good looking guy. But I think, you know, honestly what it could be is, like, she really likes him. Like, I know when I meet someone and I'm, like, really like them, after a while, you kind of get to that vulnerable state where you're like, oh my God, I really like this person.
Do they like me back?
Do they like me back? And you start feeling like a little bit like insecure. Like, I don't know if you've ever had that happen, but
I'm going through that now.
And I feel like that's what it is coming through a little bit. And, you know, she's very vulnerable with him, more so than she is with the other ones, and she's kind of gets a little defensive.
So there's like a big difference. I know, I feel bad. I feel like I'm editorializing here. It's just like I see just such a difference between Nick and Josh, where could Nick be like the safe bet and Josh is the little bit of the danger because
but
he could break her
all
heart.
The right things, but like guys are good at that too. You know, it's like maybe that's part of it. It's like, well, he says all the right things and his actions match.
You're
so
looking
like,
for something that's wrong with them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a little bit what she's doing. And we saw a little teaser of that maybe next week, like when they were forehead to forehead. I do want to say this though, and tell me if you guys noticed this. When backing up to the very beginning of Nick's date, when they walked in the house, how excited Nick's family was to see them. Like they were all anxiously like waiting. When they walked in Josh's house, they were all just like sitting on the couch, and like two of the people turned around and were like, "Hey, you're here." Did you guys notice that?
No.
It was awkward.
I was too busy counting heads. There were so many people there in the room.
At Josh's?
No, at
Josh's though, but they all got
was
up and like they hugged each other,
like,
and then they had the flowers. Like that was, I don't know.
The first thing out of their mouth was like, "Hey," not like, "Oh my God, it's so good." Like I would freak if I hadn't seen my family for that long.
Maybe they had to do a retake or something.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Something
that's
I
a
noticed.
really good observation. I'm gonna go back and watch. I didn't catch it.
They catch everything. I'm serious.
I love that. This is fun. I want to watch with you guys. Your guys' viewing room.
You're welcome to.
Anytime.
I'll be back.
We have an extra 14 seats that are open every single week.
Got popcorn out there.
Well, now let me turn it to you. Then let's talk about you know, you had a lot of thoughts on Marcus's date because the recreation of the striptease. I mean,
I get where he was going with that. You know, it was cute, but it was a little uncomfortable to watch, I guess, you know?
The line was uncomfortable. He said, "You get drunk, drink up, get drunk to enjoy this."
I know, and the underwear.
Yeah. This is
I'm more of a boxer kind of a gal.
I like boxer briefs, but those were a little bit too revealing for, I don't know.
A mouse almost got out of the house, I think. It was like something.
They had to blur it.
Something was hanging out the back. It just was, I don't know. And they were so white.
You could go so many ways with this with the book,
I know.
but I'm going to leave that one alone.
There's so many puns I wanted to make. I'm just going to let it go.
I want to talk about how Marcus, they're driving in the car, and he's like, "I want to show you around Dallas and take you through a day in my life." And then he takes her to the club to strip for her.
Was he trying to
he's
exercise
so good
demons?
at it. Maybe that whole shy bit the first time was just a part of the routine, which I dig it. I like that.
He's a physical therapy doctor, meaning that he helps you physically. I don't know. I was going to go somewhere with that, but it was going to be inappropriate. I'm going to stop myself.
Yeah.
It's late, Danny. I'm there with you.
AfterBuzz After Dark.
Are
we after midnight? It's midnight.
Okay, it's midnight, so
Is it?
we're like gremlins. It gets weird.
I've turned into a pumpkin. It's past my bedtime.
Okay, we'll make this quick. No, but
no rush. I'm here. This is fun.
This date we talked about it while we were watching it. At this stage, Andi keeps saying he's hot. He's hot.
I heard that
he's
a
hot.
lot of hotness.
And at this stage, you want more and more. And
she said a couple stops too.
Yeah. Now, don't you?
And shut up.
Drinking game is shut up.
Do you have a drinking game?
Yeah. Every time she says stop, but the thing is then I end up drinking too much. I'm like, this was a horrible idea. But the hot factor though, I definitely saw that. And the chemistry wasn't on point.
Agreed.
I don't know if it's just
no, I agree with you. 100%.
Yeah,
I wrote my notes.
Yeah, we all felt that. I mean, but then comes the other side of Marcus, and this is a perfect example, I think, of your time on the show. Is to me, it seems like they harp just too much on one thing about Marcus's difficult life, and you see that over and over and over.
I think that's a big part of his life, and that's why you see it so much.
But there's
having
more
your
to
father leave you, I think, is a huge part of his upbringing, and he's talked about that. And I think also seeing his family, seeing his brother, who was that father figure to him, it brought up the fact that he was able to say that to Andi, but had never been able to express that to his brother was huge.
That was a beautiful. I get that, but I also want to see a little more levity, just other sides of him, you know, because
more of a romantic side.
yeah, just something. I don't care.
My season, it was all about the girls and the drama. You know, every topic of conversation was like, well, why aren't you getting along with the girls? And you know, like, can you try a little hard? That was like what they focused on for my storyline. So
it seems like subconsciously you're already kind of like pushing Marcus out, you know, because you keep saying it. Because honestly, would you as ladies, or I throw out to everyone, would you find it difficult to be with someone that had so much strife, so much difficulties in his life? I mean, to deal with the highs and the lows, and it worries me. I've always said that I've thought from what I see on the show is that Marcus is, you know, slightly fragile.
I mean, my father left at a very young age, and I don't think that it defines me.
Sure.
I think that it doesn't define him either. I think that it's just discussed a lot because of the situation that he's in. He's like, I want to, when I marry someone, I'm in it for the long haul. Like, I'm never leaving. It doesn't matter. And I think that that's why it's become, you know, discussed so much. I think that there are other sides to him. I mean, obviously he wasn't talking about that when he was doing a striptease. He wasn't talking about that when they were in the car. It's just, that's something that, you know, when he's with his family, he's mentioned, you know, I really wish that you would have been able to meet my dad. So
I think there's something beautiful about that. Like, you're asking if we find it hard to date people like that?
No, I mean, in the context of this show, because remember, everything's condensed.
Right.
You have, what, is it 2 months?
Yeah, I was gone 2.5 months.
But would we look at that as a red flag? Is that what you're asking?
Right, because if you keep seeing it, you have just a very limited time.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's just that, with Dylan had a very, you know, tough upbringing as well. He went through a lot. I can understand being compassionate to the situation, but if this is what all we see as viewers, and we're taking it that we're seeing it through Andi's eyes, how wouldn't that, if we're seeing it as a red flag, wouldn't Andi see it as well?
I don't look at it as a red flag. I think that's not the way I look at it.
Caution.
No, not caution. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. The last girl I was with had a really difficult upbringing, and it was something that allowed me to. It opened up a side of me, allowed to like be a protector and help be a part of the healing process. So I think it's an opportunity more to help somebody become the best version of themselves, which is what I love.
I'd rather them be open about it than not share.
But it's up to Andi to pick up those cues, and I didn't really see her pick those up with Dylan or Marcus, to be honest with you. I didn't really, which says to me that like she likes him for like the hotness and the chemistry, but she's not invested socially, and like not that she doesn't care, but she didn't pick up on those in the short time they've had that we've seen.
So she kind of touched on it. Like, I noticed, like, after they talked about it, she was like, "Oh, well, it seems like you've really dealt with this," and like kind of brushed, you know, like seemed like okay, like acknowledged it and moved on.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
That's what I'm saying.
And that's very true. But yeah, I guess I see what you're saying, though. I mean,
yeah, it's just
you're just wishing they maybe, and there's so much that people don't see too. You know, it's just one part of their conversation that we're seeing.
Yeah.
Right, no, because I've brought it up again so many times. I even had someone come up to me and saying they had an interaction with you, and they're like, "She is such a doll. She's such a sweetheart," and it totally did a 180 from what she'd seen. So that's the kind of stuff I want a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
You know, I want the public to see. Sorry,
I mean, I think it's different because there have been people who have been portrayed as the villains on the show in the past. Like Michelle Money is a great example that we bring up all the time.
I love her.
Yeah, and everyone hated her on her season, but then she got her redemption on TV on Bachelor Pad, and everyone realized who she actually was because she got a completely different edit. And she said, and everyone in the Bachelor franchise said, that's her true self, is what you saw on Bachelor Pad, not, you know, what you saw on her season.
So you know, gosh, so much went on because we haven't. We got to move along.
We
because
didn't do Nick, did we? Did we do Nick? We did Nick.
We did everyone, but we actually, you know, something that's never happened on the show, which we touched upon early on, which was the passing of Eric. And they being informed on, was it April 23rd, and they were like in the meat of the production, and so many factors. How did they navigate themselves through it? And especially a big round of, you know, just our heartfelt applause to Chris Harrison. Yeah. The way he just handled every aspect of that.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Honestly,
very difficult thing to do.
Yes.
He handled it as best as I think he possibly could have.
Later in the night, I mean, Andi was saying she was struggling with it because she felt like she had to be the rock for everyone. Yeah. And I really feel like, I mean, Chris was just saying the right things and comforting everyone, but he was really the rock in that situation. I mean, I'm sure the producers helped instrumentally as well, but he was consoling everyone, and I'm sure that he was struggling with it as well, but he held it together.
And then 24 hours later, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I would imagine, would you be numb with everything?
Well, she clearly felt so guilty because of the last conversation that they had.
That's when I
and
cried.
I'm sure that's why,
like...
why she was so upset, is because she's like, the last conversation I had with him, I yelled at him. I said mean things to him. You know, we did not leave on good terms. And I'm sure she was probably thinking, I wonder if I had kept him, you know, one more day or whatever it was, one more week, would this have happened?
Yeah.
That's really tough to deal with. I can't even imagine, you know, the thoughts that she was going through that night.
Yeah, no. And have you chatted with some of the producers? I mean, just their thoughts, or have you had any opportunity to talk about that situation?
You know, a little bit, but you know, it's just not a whole lot.
Sure.
I mean, I know everyone. It was just for, and you know, and seeing on social media, it was just really, you know, I didn't know him personally, but just I felt for everybody involved, because you get so close with each other, and everybody. What I have heard is that Eric was like. Someone was like, is he really that good? Like, he just seemed, you know, so nice, and and that he really truly was, and like his family was just amazing, and so yeah, I mean, it's just heartbreaking, and I think Chris Harrison did an amazing job, you know, as he always does, and just kind of being like, you know, coming in, Dr. Chris, and saying the right things, and very genuine. Yeah, it's just that's tough to watch. That definitely.
Yeah, that's because you're, like you said, it's your family, extended family.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely, and I think it's something that will kind of, you know, he'll live on, and we'll keep that memory alive. And
yeah,
absolutely. So we move on to like the rose ceremony, just as difficult, and
Andi looked stunning.
That's
night,
green dress was
like
unbelievable.
I think she might have had her hair dyed or something too.
Yeah,
she looked amazing.
Yeah.
She looked regal.
Crying so much.
Regal.
Yeah.
You know, now it's so serious, but I got to get this in to just honor Nick. I mean, to Danny. I just called you Nick. Can you believe that?
We are different people, but very like-minded in the way we wear clothes.
A lot of similarities. That's why I hate him too. No. I kid.
I had to get this in for you, Danny, because you're part of the show. Wardrobe. Like, let's say you said, why are they always wearing scarves? I've always wanted to know.
There's a lot of scarves.
Are you guys supply with some?
You pack yourself, you know. There's definitely
which
not a
makes me
stylist.
like him even more.
No. Okay, so
himself.
this is the thing though. I know that on past seasons the guys have gotten like basics, like they'll get either, you know, a pack of like 5 T-shirts or something, and it's sponsored.
Season. I think it was Des season.
Yes.
Every guy was wearing like a colored
the same
hoodie.
hoodies.
Yeah.
I don't think that the scarves were from that season. I think that Nick wore them, and it looked like Josh had one, but Nick has a few, and then I think that he like lent one to Marcus. Like, I think that's what it was. Like Marcus was like,
too.
"Oh, I want to
Which says he's a good guy. It says he's carrying his shit.
No, he's like, I want you to look stupid and wear a scarf.
Settle down, you two.
If worn correctly, scarves can look great.
But
Did you
man,
get
scarves.
anything?
Unless it's cold outside, don't wear a scarf, dudes.
Yeah,
It's
we
not.
got bikinis, and you get like a few things, like basics. Like we all have these amazing jeans. We got these skinny jeans, and you can kind of shop along the way, like once you get to hometown. So he might have just bought that. He might have seen his style and been like, "Hey, where'd you get your scarf?"
Copycat.
You know?
There you go. So I just had to take care of that one for you, Danny.
I don't like
okay.
guys in scarves.
But best outfit of the rose ceremony for the guys. Nick.
You think?
Yeah.
I like a guy.
It's dapper, and it's like he's like walked off a J. Crew
I like
magazine.
a guy in a
Walked out of
normal
Ralph
suit,
Lauren?
like, you know, whatever.
This is a project
And that's his
run, right?
personality.
This is
It's his
Bachelor.
personality.
You're right.
He's-
You're on national television. You can just, wear your best. But I just like casual. I don't know. I guess it's not that.
I
kind
like
of
a
show.
guy, like, not in a rose ceremony, but just like t-shirt and jeans. Like, you don't have to do a lot.
Flip-flops.
Like, people look so much hotter when they keep it simple.
Yeah.
But I'm saying in a rose ceremony they have to dress up.
Oh, yeah, so wear a
dressed to
normal
the nines.
suit.
I just a black suit and white tie or white shirt and tie. It's
The
boring.
skinny tie. It was like the one season had Ario. Remember they were wearing.
I like skinny ties, though.
And they
Skinny
were on
ties.
that
Yeah.
season. He was
See,
wearing scarves too. A lot of those guys.
You can change up, like, you know, you wear a different watch or you wear shoes or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
We are so sidetracked right now.
I know.
We've got Courtney here. I want to get into
We're
this,
just dishing.
but we got to also say our goodbye to Marcus. And
Yeah.
I literally,
Sorry,
like I said, I
buddy.
thought Chris was leaving, so
Yeah.
I felt so bad for him when he said that line, like, I wish I hadn't said I love you, because he's talked about how he doesn't open up like that. He's never had those feelings. And for him to, no, it's JC. It's just, that was heartbreaking too,
Yeah, it
because,
was.
you know,
I felt bad. I felt for him.
Do you really think that was the first time he's ever said that though?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
That's a big thing to keep up. But I think I see him on the Bachelor Paradise list. So maybe
is it? Do we know, or
I
can we
believe
talk
he
about
is.
Yeah. I didn't.
I think so. I mean, like, they had so many people that weren't on the original list. Like, I don't know. Are we allowed to talk about it now? Like, I'm getting texts from people who are like, "Oh, by the way, I'm on Bachelor Paradise." I know.
So Marcus is in what?
Yes, I believe he is.
I don't know.
He is, and I think Markel is.
Yep.
Now, Courtney, would you ever do Bachelor in Paradise? Would you do?
Were you asked?
Yes.
I definitely, I talked to somebody about it, and I was considering it, but with the book and dates, and I don't want to say an inner struggle. Like, I just think reality TV and love for me just don't go together anymore.
Could I ask you this then? Speaking of that, reality TV and love, what about real life and love, not on TV? What's that like now? Do you ever have I don't know, you meet a guy and you wonder like what he knows? Does he know anything? If he does it affect how he views you?
You know, it was a little difficult for me, I think, after like the breakup and that sort of thing, and just more so on my end. Like, I was like, I have to explain this, you know, and that was the other part. It was like I already have to explain going on one show to find love. Like, I don't want to have to explain going on two. But that's just me. But honestly, my love life's fine. I've been kind of like just taking my time and, you know, dating. Like I said, I've got a couple good on paper guys that have been, you know, I have like a 3-4 month kind of thing, like, or I'm like, okay, like at that point I can tell if it's going to go somewhere or not. But I need a guy who understands it and isn't judgmental, obviously. I just wrote a tell-all book, so, you know, I'm going to need a strong guy that can just be secure.
Would you date another guy from the franchise again?
You know, I have talked to some. I mean, we meet each other, and I've definitely entertained the idea. I dated Ari after my breakup, and after that, I was like, you know what, just like, because the public knows everybody, and I was like, I want something more private. But the other thing, on the other hand, it's also nice because they know what it's like, and we have the same friends, and so I mean, I guess I'm not saying no completely, but I'm looking for something a little bit more normal.
Yeah. Do you have like an ideal guy or something you know?
These guys get so much attention too, by the way. I just have to throw that in there. Like, that's the other thing. These guys come off the show and it's like
they're at a bar and they pick up any girl.
I mean, they're just like, they flock to them. It's just like their lives aren't back to normal for a long time. They kind of have to ride that out. A lot of them just kind of go a little crazy.
Yeah.
So you're saying those are the changes for the men. What about the women and what they deal with post Bachelor or Bachelorette?
You know, I think everybody's different. Like, for me, I kind of just wanted to kind of get away from it all for a little while, and I kind of laid low, and then I started writing my book, and now I'm like in a great place, and I've got my, you know, some friends, and it's like you said, like a little nation, Bachelor Nation. Like, it's nice to have friends from that. It's fun, but just kind of part of my life that's, you know, I'm moving on from.
Well, let's really dive into the book.
Although I'm here talking about it, but that's, you know, I was like, that's one thing, but.
Well, what do you want? What would you like the public at large, or let's say a casual Bachelor fan, or what do you want them to learn about you by the book?
You know, I just like wanted to give people an inside look into what it's like and to what was going on, maybe things that they didn't see. So, and just for women who might be stuck in a bad relationship, who need courage to get out of it, and it's just a fun, light beach read.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there are excerpts in it from a lot of Bachelorette people.
Yeah, Graham Bunn, you were saying, that was in here before. He wrote one, and Kaylin, another villain, and Michelle Money, and so it's just a fun, light read. It's not a Bachelor Bashal or a Ben Bashal.
Yeah.
I didn't write this to hurt people's feelings. It's just for fun.
What made you originally want to do it?
Like I said before, like being like in this media storm and like not being able to really like share my side of the story. I wasn't allowed to talk to the media for a while, and we had this bad public breakup, and I never really had a chance to be like, actually, this is what it was really like. So for me, I was just kind of wanted to clear the air a little bit and give people like an inside scoop to what it's like to trying to make a relationship work after you got engaged on national television, because a lot of these couples that don't work, they just release statements and that's all you ever hear. But like, I thought for people it might be interesting to be like, no, this is what it was like trying to make it work.
Yeah.
You know, just the whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've heard that about you, that you are, you're romantic. You just caution to the wind and gathered that from.
Dove in head first, and it just, and I'm glad I did, honestly. Like it was, I did find love, and it wasn't everlasting, but I really did fall in love, and I do think it works.
Any regrets?
You know, probably, yeah, I definitely have some regrets. You know, I could have done things differently, but. You know, I mean, everyone always asks me, like, would you do it again? Like, obviously, knowing what I know now, no. Of course I wouldn't. But it's all positive now, and I've got this book, and it's, you know, I see the positive sides now.
Well, you talk about, I mean, people always say, oh, you didn't make friends on your season or whatever, but you're friends with, like, Rachel Chouart and Jacqueline Schwartz and a lot of people from the show. Yeah.
And, like, one of my best friends is Amy Bean. She was my producer on there. And, like, Daniela McBride. I mean, like... And a lot of people live in LA. Like, you know, I see a lot of people around. But, yeah, I definitely have a lot of the girls from other seasons. I think it's different when you're not fighting for the same guy.
Yeah.
And I even saw Casey B, and she was really nice to me. So it's just like we kind of all just moved on. Yeah. And a lot of the girls from my season are married and moved on. So.
That always seems to happen. Every single, like, Bachelor, every time The Bachelor ends, you always hear, like, 3 girls just got engaged after the show.
Yeah, like Renee. Congratulations to her.
Renee and Cassandra.
That's right.
Also, she just moved. A couple of people mentioned in chat roll, she moved to Seattle and now lives, like, down the street from Lindsay Cox. And so many Bachelor people are in Seattle. Yeah.
Up there.
Yeah.
She's great.
You were on Molly and Jason's podcast recently, right?
I talked to Molly recently. Yeah, she does a local show up there.
Yeah.
I think for Kiss FM. And yeah, she was great. I sent her the book. She actually had written me a sidebar that didn't make it into the book. Yeah. But she was really supportive.
Yeah. Someone tweeted this to us, but she said that, or he said that the producers were, like, a huge part of, like, they got to say, like, which excerpts got in or no in the book.
I can't give away all my secrets.
Okay.
Nice try.
I thought he just tweeted it to us. He's Scott McDougal. He read it and he's like, well, I think that the producers did. What?
No, that's so funny.
Yeah.
It took a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and I think we've spent an hour here talking, and I think fans will get to actually, you learn a lot about a person. This is live.
Oh, this is live? Oh. No,
we waited.
Sweating.
No, but I think people get to see other sides, another side to you. And I think that's important because not everything you see is necessarily exactly what you get. So, and
that's why that perception is not reality. It's like how people perceive people.
Don't judge the
book by its cover.
I beat you to it.
No, I was thinking it first.
I deal with this every
I did say those things. I don't blame the edit. You can't blame the edit. I said those things. I said sassy things. So
Sassy
sausage.
Okay, she owned up to it. So now tell us, where can we find I Didn't Come Here to Make Friends?
I love hearing how people say it. So most people are like, I didn't come here to make friends. But yeah, it's on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And you can get it online. You can download it for Kindle. And I hope you guys enjoy.
And where can we find you to follow you on
things? I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I love Instagram. Bug Robertson on both. B-U-G Robertson. My name's too long, so.
But which one do you love more, Twitter or Instagram?
Instagram. I love Instagram.
You're a picture
person.
If I
could, I would just post food pictures all the time. But nobody likes that.
I would like your food pictures. I love food.
Well, follow me. I'll follow you. I love Instagram. I like Twitter, too. People are amazing on there. I'm not getting as many haters or death threats anymore, so I'm on Twitter more.
Times are changing. So with that said, I also want to let everyone know you had a great interview with Jeff Masters earlier tonight.
He was such a love. So adorable.
Book Circle Online.
Yes.
Our sister network, I guess.
Where they talk more in depth about the book, correct?
We got into it. We really did. We talked about some dish in there. And we got the dish.
Saucy dish.
Big round of applause for Miss Courtney Robertson.
Thank you so much for coming on. Having me. Anytime.
Thank you. And now, Danny, where can they find you?
You guys can find me online at Danny Hoyt.
You can find me on Twitter at Cathy Kelley.
And you can find me at JC Rubio TV on Instagram and Twitter. So for Courtney,
Oh, you all.
Cathy, Danny, Bengineer, I'm JC. We'll see you next week. Good night,
From
everybody.
executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.